Hello and welcome back to the Fit 40 podcast, where we simplify exercise and nutrition for busy parents 40 plus so they can improve their health and feel amazing. I'm your host, Brian Fitzsimmons, certified personal trainer and nutrition coach for people over 40 since 2015. And today we have an awesome topic on deck. Okay, we are going to be talking about why you should stop doing daily weigh-ins. But before I get into it, as always, if you haven't already, and I'd be surprised if you haven't already, because I know there's a lot of return listeners pretty much every week, but if you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that follow or subscribe button wherever you're watching or listening so that way you do not miss another episode, because I have a lot of awesome episodes lined up and I know you're going to find them super duper valuable. I don't want you to miss them. So go ahead, click that button and you will be thankful you did in the upcoming weeks. All right. But enough about what's coming up. Let's talk about today. Let's talk about the big thing that we're talking about, which is why you should stop doing daily weigh-ins. Okay. Daily weigh-ins are one of these things that have just been a thing for a very, very long time in the diet space, in the nutrition and fitness space, because it kind of scratches that itch of like, okay, I've got something to look at every single day to tell me if I'm off or on, if I'm doing what I should be doing or if I'm not doing what I should be doing. And in those regards, like using it as an accountability tool, it can be extremely helpful. But in my experience, most people do better with stretching that timeline out with checking their metrics. So let me backtrack. Last night we had our weekly Zoom call for all the Fit 40 clients where they could hop on and we talk about things like their wins, their things they're working on. We have my new favorite section called BS or Not, where they basically just tell me stuff they saw on social media or heard from a coworker and they're like, is this BS or not? And along all of those like lines of the different sections we go through, at one point, one of my clients, Courtney, mentioned that she had done an in-body scan. And that in-body scan was about a year apart from the old one. So it was about the same time in 2024. And in that time, she lost about 40 pounds of body fat, not just 40 pounds of weight. Like you see a lot of people go on these starvation diets and they lose a ton of weight, but turns out like half of that was lean body mass and half was fat. This was like almost 100% body fat. And she maintained muscle. And I think she actually gained a pound of muscle throughout that whole thing, which is incredible considering holding on to muscle is so damn hard on a diet. And she was like glowing. She was so happy. And I'm like, this is incredible, because so many people, when they hop on the scale and always look down, down, down and say, okay, how'd I do? Okay, how did I do? They don't get to experience that because things happen day after day after day and you don't really appreciate it as much. Kind of like when you look at yourself in the mirror every single day and you see zero change. But then when you look back on a progress picture from like a year ago, you're like, holy crap, who's that person? And it's you. So it's kind of like that. And this is what I wanted to get into, because my case against not weighing in so frequently is, number one, it just leads to bad behaviors. Because if you don't have a solid relationship with the scale, and that is something you can work on if you choose to, but like, let's be honest, most people start their diet journey in a place of desperation. They're like, I just need something to work. I need something to stick. So working on their relationship with the scale isn't exactly priority number one. So we're kind of fighting a losing battle in that regard. So what do we do to shift the narrative and get people on the best tracks? Like, what can you do to make sure that you don't keep doing that over and over again? Because the bad behaviors that usually come from this are like when you have a bad weigh-in, number one, you feel like crap about yourself and you're like questioning yourself every second of that following day, where it's like, oh, I had a bad weigh-in. Am I doing everything I should be doing? Am I following the right plan? Should I be doing this plan? Should I be doing that plan? And you're just questioning yourself over and over again. And then it leads to things like skipping meals, where you're like, okay, I weighed in a little heavy this morning. I'm just going to skip breakfast, which then leads to feeling like a little bit hungry at lunch and then ravenous at dinner time. And then that ravenous dinner time experience leads to over consuming calories, which leads to another bad weigh-in. And then it just keeps repeating itself over and over and over again. And then you go down the line of like, oh, maybe it's the fact that this specific food is just bad. I shouldn't be having this food. And then you go on social media and you see, hey, this person says this food's bad too. So now I'm going to avoid that food because it's poison and I'm not going to do that to myself. And then we create this horrible relationship with food that is undeserved, because there's actually nothing to suggest that any of that is true, other than you, number one, questioning everything, and two, having some predatory influencer online trying to sell BS or spread their own justification for their eating disorder. And now you're almost taking that on yourself. So we've got that going on. And then every single day is make or break. It's like, okay, I'm either doing good or doing bad. There's no nuance, there's no context. There's no spectrum of like where you are. Like we're not paying attention to the trajectory, like where you're headed overall throughout the weeks and months. It's just today. Today, 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 today. Every day is a make or break it type deal. And that burns you out. Like just me saying it is like, oh my God, this sounds terrible. No wonder people hate dieting. No wonder people hate like doing the things that help them manage their weight and keep them in a healthy body composition. Like, who would want to do this? It sounds freaking horrible. So, what do we do instead? Well, I can tell you right now, when it comes to the Fit 40 clients, I ask them to do it once a month. Now, if they are the type of person who could step on the scale and just feel no emotion around it and just say, okay, that's my weight for the day and move on and record it, fine. I'm not going to fight them on it. Like they have a good relationship with the scale. Let them do that. As long as we're not experiencing those negative behaviors, cool. But for everybody else, I'm like, let's just do once a month. Take your measurements, take your body weight. Is it the most accurate thing in the world compared to getting daily data? No. But all we care about is the trajectory at the end of the day. Yes, it would be nice to be accurate, but it's more important to be consistent. Do we see that we're losing body fat in the inches? Do we see that we're able to maintain or even build muscle by seeing your workouts improve? Awesome. Are we seeing all these changes in the right direction? That's what matters. And also, if you want to take it to the level that Courtney did, get your scans like a DEXA scan or an InBody, like something reliable. DEXA is like the gold standard right now, even though it does have a margin of error. So if you have access to that, cool. Bod pods, if you want to hold your breath for a long time, they do tests like that. InBodies are usually the most accessible because you can find them at different gyms that want to drop the 15 grand for some odd reason. I like doing just like body measurements because those are tried and true. Like if it says that you're a 36 waist and you're like not squeezing it against yourself or leaving a bunch of room and you're doing it honestly, then you know that's 36 inches. Like, duh. And then scale weight is pretty standard. Like, it's like, okay, we don't have to really question this, assuming it's like a consistent scale. Like, you jump on the scale and you see the same weight 3 times in a row, you could assume that it's pretty damn accurate. Unlike certain tests, like those scanners that like when you weigh yourself in your bathroom and they give you 3 different answers, you're like, okay, so this thing's not really that accurate. So take your pick, get your scans or do your inches and whatever once a month or whatever. DEXA, I would say spread it out even more, like quarterly, 6 months or even a year, because that does come with a little low level radiation. So no reason to expose yourself to that, especially if you know you're going in the right path and it's more for, at that point, it's more for like funsies, figuring out where you're at, or if you have a risk of osteoporosis or osteopenia, sarcopenia, any of that stuff, and you really want to like keep tabs on that, that's a case for doing it more frequently. So the big thing that we want to think about here is what's going to get us to that point. Okay. Because it's good to track everything, but the real benefit of all of this, like really expanding that timeline, is that it allows us to just zone in on the behaviors that actually get us there. So what are those behaviors that we need to master to actually get these results and move ourselves in the right direction? Number one, if it is body composition or even performance or whatever goal it is, when it's coming to change, when it comes to changing your body, a lot of the times calories are a thing that we need to address. So if weight loss is the goal or whatever, put your calories in the right place. Like weight loss, you need a deficit, or you might be even able to keep it at maintenance level in the very beginning when you're in the newbie gains phase, and you could burn body fat, build muscle at the same time, which is awesome. But after that point, you got to pick a lane. If you're trying to improve your performance and you're trying to run a marathon or like do a high rocks or something like that, your calories got to be a little bit higher, but make it goal specific. Quality. We need to make sure that we're eating quality foods so that you actually feel good during this process. Your body responds better because I mean, they've done things like the Twinkie diet, the pizza diet, where people lost weight. Like look up go ahead and Google the Kansas State Twinkie diet. The professor literally said, hey, I'm going to have X amount of calories, but I'm going to eat junk food for like this entire month or two. And he lost weight, and even a bunch of health markers improved in his blood because he lost that weight. But at the end of the day, he said, this is not sustainable. I feel horrible. Like you may feel good in the beginning because of reducing caloric intake, but eventually it always catches up. And that's one of those things that you see in a lot of crappy diets, like fad diets. You feel good for the first few weeks and then you feel like crap like the remainder of the weeks, because you're like, oh, this is actually putting me in a place where I'm deficient of all these nutrients because my food quality has taken a hit because I'm eating all these bars and pre-made meals that have no actual nutrients in them. Next is workouts, making sure that you're actually staying active the entire time. Because if, especially weight loss, if that's the goal, long term weight loss, like when they survey people and say, hey, what are some things that you do that, and look for the consistencies that people have when they are able to keep a substantial amount of weight off for years and years. Number one thing, they still exercise, they still stay active. So if you're really struggling to stay active, then that should be like priority number one, is how do I make this a normal part of my life? You don't need to do hour-long workouts. It could be 10, 20-minute circuits. That's still going to produce a lot of benefit. I can tell you from personal experience, a lot of the Fit 40 clients do the Fit 20 program, 20 minutes 3 times a week, and sometimes 2 times a week, and they still see really good results. You really don't need much to get a lot of benefit. And then on top of that, the behaviors that you really want to master are the ones that make the whole thing easier, the ones that make you feel better. Things like stress management. So some of us have super duper stressful lives. Are there any pockets in your day or in your life where you're like, hey, this I could probably improve upon? So, like, obviously, outside factors, they're going to happen. It's going to be a part of the deal. But, like, can you limit your exposure to stressors throughout the day? Like, do we have to doom scroll 10 times every day? Can it be once? Can we do it twice? Like, can you limit your exposure to people that are stressful, like taking a call or not taking a call from a person that you know is going to bring the stress with them and emotionally dump on you? Can you, like, basically say, hey, busy right now, can I call you back later? And then kind of bring that boundary in, that healthy boundary, and limit the amount of time that you're talking to them? Possibly, like little stuff like that. Or from an exercise standpoint, maybe your like good stress of exercise is becoming too much stress, and now it's turning into a negative because you are now putting your body through too much physical stress for it to recover from, and we're not seeing the results we want. We're feeling a little run down. Can we dial that back? Can we improve our programming? Can we do all these other things? So there's a lot of room for improvement on the stress side. How about sleep? Can we get a little bit more sleep? Is it possible to skip that one episode? Is it possible to improve your sleep quality by improving your environment, like getting the temperature at a certain place, blacking out your room, investing in some blackout curtains so your eye doesn't catch little lights throughout the night? Um, Little things like that. Anything that comes to mind. Usually we have these things top of mind where we're like, I should do this, but we never actually get around to it. Go with whatever that thing is in your head and start there. And then last thing I had on here was planning and schedule management. Because when you plan, when you actually have some sort of a calendar that you can operate from, it makes the whole thing so much easier. I'm telling you, I don't understand how people operate without a calendar. I really, really don't. So if you haven't already, just give it a try, like just for a week. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Like put down that, hey, if you work 9 to 5, one big block in your Google Calendar, 9 to 5, and then fill in whatever events you got for that week and the next one, like your kids' events and stuff. And then if it's a yearly thing, like a birthday or like a holiday, like you just plug that in and say repeat every year, done. And it's there. It takes a couple of minutes to make your life substantially easier and get the things done you want to get done. And at the end of the day, the big thing that we want to do throughout this whole process, when we are stretching this timeline, is chase that feeling of feeling better. Okay. The best diets have you feeling better each and every week. It's not, oh my God, this is amazing. And then a month or two go by and you're like, why do I feel like garbage? Why do I feel like crap right about now? Why do I feel so low energy? Because they tricked you into starving yourself and gave you a break from your crappy diet. That's why. But you want to get to a place where your energy is consistently improving. You want to get to a place where your clothes are fitting better and you're like, oh, this is nice. And you're able to enjoy experiences even with those bad foods and know that you're still on track and know that everything is okay. So you have a very positive mental relationship with food, as well as a physical relationship, being able to be independent, be there when it matters, and experience things on vacations, on trips, and things like that because you're stronger, you're fitter, you're feeling more confident, and all of it ties together so nicely into this awesome lifestyle that you have now created. But one of the best things I think can lead to that is stretching that timeline out. and allowing yourself the space to work on the things that matter the most rather than constantly looking to see if you're at the finish line. All right. So, that all being said, if you want help on your journey, I'm always here for you. I'm not going to hard pitch. Just know I'm a coach. I literally help people with this every single day. And if you are interested in looking into what that looks like, then go ahead, click that link down below, and we'll hop on a call and see if it's right for you. If it's not, no worries. I'll refer you to a friend or somewhere I know that'll serve you better. But if it is right for you, it could quite literally change your life. And if you're not quite there yet, no worries. Go ahead and grab your free Core 4 bundle down below. Something free I put together for you that has the Core 4 metabolism and mobility trainings. It's got a mobility flow, follow along routine that you can do. And even if you have trouble getting off the ground, if you have knee issues, if you have wrist issues, I have adjustments in there so you can still do it. And there's also 15 follow along strength workouts. So as long as you got dumbbells at home or bands or body weight, you can do them. And there's a PFC cheat sheet. So you hear me talk about protein, fiber, color. If you want to see what that's all about, it's in there too. Go ahead, grab your free copy if you haven't already, and let me know how you like it. Hope that it really helps. But that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you listening all the way through, and I will see you next time. But until then, go kick some ass. Bye-bye.